All right, so we're back here again. Wanted to highlight another Packback question. And this is coming from Susanna Soria Ochoa. I hope that's correct. If it's not, I apologize. But she asked this past week, is entrapment ethical? How far is too far? So we're talking about entrapment, right? We're really referring to the police or investigators setting up a situation where someone is coerced into committing a crime that they may otherwise not do if it wasn't for like the police, right? So then the police catch you committing the crime that they set up for you, right? So they're sort of like coercing you and something like that. And so I think this is an interesting question because depending on the context, right, you will see people say, yeah, oh, that's totally fine, as someone responded in this post. And, others were like, well, okay, do we really want to entice people to commit crime, right? Take, for example, the case of a bait car. That used to be a television show where police officers in like Atlanta and a few other cities, they would have a car that would be, outfitted so that if someone stole it or attempted to steal it, they would lock the doors, steal someone in, right? Or they would like leave a laptop in plain view, or like sometimes leave like, a car door open or something like that. And, they'd have cameras posted inside and like watching the car. And they would like, dump it in like a crappy neighborhood and just watch, right? And so whoever, tried to sell the laptop later or got in the car and started driving or something like that, they would be like, hey, we got you, right? And like, we got you for motor vehicle theft, stealing these items, you're going to jail, right? Now, there is like one, theory where obviously these people should not be doing that, right? Like that's kind of a bad thing, that, you're trying to steal a car and do that. Like I think that is objectively clear. However, is it right that, you are creating a situation where you're trying to induce people to commit crime, right? Or we want you to do it and we're going to create the conditions where maybe it's irresistible for you to do that. I don't know, right? Like, that's like, is that the way that you guys have to go? Because now this person who maybe they were on parole, maybe they're just a normal person, they saw an opportunity, they took it, right? But like now this person has a record and stuff, now you've triggered it, and does this actually do anything in terms of, establishing good relationship with the community? Does it do anything in terms of actually preventing motor vehicle theft? In general, right? Because you never know what one's going to be the bait car, or whatever, right? Like I think there are a lot of questions that come up for that kind of thing, right? That may or may not be the case. Another example is that, like I remember in the city of Dallas, there was a person who was arrested for trying to bomb. What's the name of that tower? It's like this Twisted Mirror building in downtown. It has a weird name. Anyway, I think it's the Bank of America building in downtown Dallas. You can look that up. Oh, Trammell Crow. I think it's the Trammell Crow building. I think that's right. Hope that's right. Anyway, Trammell Crow was the real estate person in Dallas. Anyway, these FBI agents talked to someone who was of Middle Eastern descent for months and months and months. It was like, and basically they found him on like some sort of web page, and they basically started suggesting, hey, you should like bomb this place, you should bomb it, you should become like radicalized. And over time he got more and more involved. He's talking to these people that are actually like FBI people, and and then he shows up, he shows up to get the equipment and is like getting prepared to like detonate this building, and then they arrest him, right? And the thing is, right, like this person was not looking for that initially. And this is something it's a case that built up for years and years and years, where they just kept like baiting him and saying, oh, you should radicalize. So they're radicalizing the person to bomb this building, and they arrest him for wanting to do that, even though originally he had no intention to do that. Now, obviously, he should not have attempted to do that. He should not have, gone that far, and maybe some steps along the way. But does that feel great that that's how it was done, right? That we created these situations where you could not resist committing this kind of crime, right? I think that's a very interesting question that we should, maybe consider is that the kind of police force we want to have when we're committing crime? And as a final example, some of you guys may remember this or not. I forget what it's called. I think it was called To Catch a Predator. And, you used to have like was his name Chris Hansen? I can't remember, but he basically, what he would do is that there would be like this team, and there would be like this team of, like anti-pedophilia people, and they would go into these chat rooms and engage with people who are on the website who are older, right? Say 30, 40, 50, 20, whatever age, right? And they would be like engaged in these promiscuous messages with these dudes. And I think they only ever did dudes. I don't think they ever showed on camera soliciting women, but you could solicit women in this case. And try to get them to show up at this address, and then they'd be like, okay, I'll be coming right back out. And like Chris Hansen would come in and it's like, what are you doing here? You're coming here to, have, sex, or you assume that you're having sex with this, teenager or something, or whatever age they were. And like catch them on camera, like, oh, these child predators are out here, how dare they, right? And now the thing that's interesting, right, is that yes, you should not, commit child pedophilia, right, or any kind of promiscuous activity with children, right? That is, objectively wrong. But you're also inducing someone and soliciting them and trying to get them here to do it, so then you can arrest them, right? Especially, it's a complex issue because when you consider, like, sex offenders, and right, many of them know that something is wrong, like they shouldn't have these urges, but they are reluctant to seek help because there's such a great stigma and they don't know what to do, right? And so maybe, obviously, they probably shouldn't be on these websites, right? That should be true, but there's a difference between being on a website and, like, living a fantasy of sorts versus someone soliciting you, engaging you, and like really amping you up, to come, right? Like those are very like different scenarios, right? Especially if someone like is seeking help and is trying to battle it, and now you've like induced it, right? The crime is objectively wrong. People should not be doing that, and we should probably be more receptive to getting help for people who need it like that, right? But do we really want the police engaging in this behavior where they're actively soliciting people to come have sex with minors, right? Like, and then say like, we got you, right? Like that is a very different than, we caught you in a preventative kind of thing, right? Is that the kind of world that we want to live in? And is where we, say like, in the interest of preventing a crime, we got this person off the street, even though they may have been trying to get their life together. I think it's a very morally complex practice, right? And something that, all of you should really ask yourself about, like, is this acceptable? Is this not? And why do I feel that way? This is a great question. Thank you for asking it, and I'll see y'all next week.